Girls of Reddit. What is the most obvious sign you gave to a guy and he didn't get it? In college I asked a guy out to a movie and he said he'd love to go. At the actual movie I brushed my hand up against his so that he may hold it. He put his index finger on mine and kept it there through the whole movie. This reminds me of when I was in middle school. I asked this girl to dance and I had my hands at her sides. Then my fingers sorta slipped, so they weren't all touching her, and I thought it would be weird to get a firm grip. So I just kept dancing with only like 4 fingers touching her. Got made fun of for that one. I would cuddle up to him, sit on his lap, straight up flirt with him. I had to tell him I liked him. He still seemed confused. We're expecting our first child, so I think it turned out well in the end. I had to tell him I liked him. I like how you make it sound like that's somewhat outrageous. Sat on his lap. He got up and found me a chair. Thanks, Andrew. Edit. Later I asked if he was uncomfortable. We were drunk at this point. He told me he didn't realize I was flirting. We are dating now. So polite. I was a guy. My female friend from college wanted to be swimming buddies. But first we'd have to stop off at her room so I could tell her which bikini looked best on her. My stupid ass said, "I'm sure they all look fine. Just pick one and meet me at the pool." I was a fucking idiot. This one takes the cake. I'm a guy. But many moons ago as I was leaving her apartment late one night, "Girl, you don't want to spend the night." Me, "Why? I live like 2 blocks from here." I went home. She was pissed. Now married almost 8 years. Is she still pissed to this day? He still lives 2 blocks away even after the marriage. And still asking himself if she likes him. Not so much that he didn't get it, as that he was just very innocent and adorable. Back in middle school we were hanging out and I said, "If you were to kiss me right now, I wouldn't stop you." To which he opened his eyes wide and said, "What, really?" I nodded and he kissed me on the cheek and blushed. Nothing came of it, but years later he mentioned that he realized what I meant a few days after our hangout and was so embarrassed. He assumed he had missed his chance. Told the guy I liked, now my boyfriend, that I was single and was looking for a boyfriend. And he just went, "Oh, have fun." That's always difficult. Then later in the conversation I ended up calling him hot and boyfriend material. Yeah, bad joke I know. And he was like, haha, thanks. 3 hours afterwards he texted me and was like, "Wait, were you flirting with me? Now we are dating." And I like to tease him about his constant obliviousness. I have had this space cadet moment of obliviousness before. The forehead smack of realization that occurs however long afterwards is the worst. Dude, my boyfriend did that. I don't wish him mental turmoil, but he deserved it this time after the month he spent missing all my signals. Girl in high school. I like guys in tight shirts and blue jeans. Me. Wearing a tight shirt and blue jeans. Damn. Lucky dudes. Ow, this hurts. Had the bad version of this happen to me. I wish I could date someone who is like you. You can date me, no, you're my friend. I want to find a boyfriend like you. Oh, cries in this guy. Even better when they hug you and are like, "Cheer up. You'll make some girl super happy one day." P.S. It's not today. Oh dear God. She did say this to me a few times. After a class in university, a girl who I had already pointed out to a friend I thought she was hot came up to me and said, "Your name's so and so. You're in my class. How did you get so smart?" I was stunned, like a deer in headlights. I replied, "I watch a lot of TV. Why do I love this? Because I was brain in my head smart, not brain between my legs smart." I laughed really hard at this. I literally told him, "I think you're cute, we should date," and he didn't even blink. Fast forward 4 years and he texted me if I was serious back then. I said yes. Then he felt like an idiot because he had a huge crush on me too. We are best friends now though. And girls think the subtle signs will work when S like this doesn't even have a 100% success rate. That goes for hints about gifts too. "Oh, that top looks cute," is a random comment. "Oh, that top would make a nice gift for my birthday next week." A subtle hint. "Oh, can you get me that top for my birthday next week?" A slightly less subtle hint. And a hint I will pick up on. There were rumors in my store that I liked one guy and that he liked me back, but we were too stupid to admit it to each other. One day I was fed up with all of this and decided to take action. So in front of everyone I shouted at him from the opposite side of the department, "He name I like you, okay?" He turned and shouted back, "Thank you." We dated for 3 months. Then we broke up. I can just imagine that look on his face when he turned around suddenly and just said "8" with the most dumbest expression on his face, lol. I'm not a girl, but many years ago a girl once told me she was a diagnosed nymphomaniac. That she absolutely needed to have sex when she was horny, and that she was horny right then. As we hung out alone together in my band's practice space, which had a great big couch in it, I asked her questions about the psychology and then offered her a ride home. I figured it out days later when another girl told me how fucking oblivious I was. Edit. For the record, she was not a diagnosed nymphomaniac. She was just horny and trying to be really obvious about it. I knew a chick like that. She proceeded to bite my face like a rabid squirrel. Rabies is really dangerous. Also, just curious, what color squirrel? Well, this happened to me as a guy. She was on my bed and looked at me dead in the eye and said, "People tell me I give great blowjobs." And I looked at her straight faced and said, "Nice. Good for you." She had the most disappointed face I've ever seen a woman have. Jesus Christ, mate, if your D is as thick as your head, she missed out on a huge opportunity. Wow. I think you missed a career as a writer. I'm a dude. But one time I was out with a girl and she was acting super flirty. Eventually she said something along the lines of, "You know, I'm on birth control," and I was so clueless I responded with, "Damn, that sucks. I heard those really mess with your hormones." She said it would be better if we were friends the next day. I realized my failure after weeks of wondering what I did wrong. Guy here. She slept in my twin bed with me twice. The second night, she spent an hour leading up to bed talking about sex. I slept fully clothed right next to her both times. Edit. And the best part, she talked about overhearing a couple having sex in the freshman dorms a year earlier. It was too dark to see in, so she and her friends crept up to the open window to listen. Curious, I coaxed her down the stairs and into my car and drove us over to the dorms. I parked and pointed at a first floor window. She laughed and asked if I'd heard them too. I told her that it was my room last year. I drove us back, tucked her in, and played Street Fighter Third Strike for an hour before falling asleep next to her. Damn, son. A flashing neon sign would have been more subtle than that. She should get a flashing neon sign that says sex next time. Girl I worked with when I was 18 or 19 ran her finger up and down the button-up shirt seam where the buttons are. Said, "I always wanted to ride in a Mustang. I owned a classic one, 1965, and I was like, oh cool. Yeah, that'd be fun. I can give you a lift home after work if you want." And then I did, and she was all, "You want to come up and watch a movie?" And that's when I hit deep clueless nerd and said I would, but I'm meeting some friends to play D&I. Peak nerd. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. Thank you kind strangers for my brief and fleeting internet fame. Edit 2. For those asking, here's one of the old pictures of the car to have survived the 30-ish years since I had it. The car. https://imga.com/gallery/wafflesart. Looks like you rolled a one there, pal. I had the opposite once. I went on a date with a pretty young lady who, after dessert, leaned forward and asked me in a quiet tone if I would like to go back to her place and play her mandolin. Then she meant it. I got a free 30-minute mandolin lesson. Is there a chance she wanted you to play her mandolin after you played her mandolin? Or was it strictly an invitation to play her mandolin? If you know what I mean. After this story I can't confidently say that I do know what you mean. I'm a guy, but remember one girl tried to kiss me twice way back when I was younger. For some reason, I just couldn't figure out what she meant by that. Interesting reaction. But what does it mean? Underrated nightmare before Christmas. I had a female acquaintance I got high and watched movies with. She came over in a sheer tank top and no bra. I took no hints and kept my eyes on her face because my mommy taught me not to stare. I think she got fed up because I did not see her again after that. It's okay bro. My mom taught me the same thing. How did she teach you though? By having nips out and telling you not to look. That's not how your mom taught you not to stare at boobs. Was talking to this cute guy and been hanging out a lot. Been talking about planning for a family together and moving to his country. 5 years later he texted me saying he thought I was joking and he had a huge crush on me as we were hanging out. He's now married with 2 kids. I met a cute guy in college and we started texting a lot. Our school used to host 19+ themed club nights on campus every Thursday night. And one of those nights, the guy texted me and asked if I was planning on going. I hadn't planned on it, but was hoping the guy would invite me to go with him. So I said something like, "No, I always want to go, but none of my friends are 19 yet, so I have no one to go with." He said, "Oh, that's too bad. Have a good night." Eventually, he caught onto my flirting, and we've been dating for 5 years now. He still insists that there was nothing wrong with his response.